Welcome to 5 a Day with Jay. I'm your host, J.R. Murdoch. Today we're going to talk about aliens. Yesterday I briefly mentioned Ancient Aliens and the History Channel. Let me explain my take on Ancient Aliens. First off, no, I never took everything they said 100% seriously. I don't believe it was ever meant to be completely serious. In probably 83 or 84, my dad had a book called Chariot of the Gods. Many of you might have read it. It's a book that asks a lot of questions. It doesn't come to a lot of conclusions. That was the whole point of the book, was to leave something open. The pyramids couldn't have been built in the time frame that they said. It would have had to have been done far too quickly. Aliens. It was easy to ask an open-ended question like, who could have helped the humans back in those ancient times? How did humans drill such perfect holes? How did humans do this, that, or the other thing? Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean it's aliens. Although that's the premise of Ancient Aliens, is it must have been aliens because we don't have another logical explanation for it at this time. Another book that I read much after I read Chariot of the Gods was Fingerprint of the Gods. To me, that book was far more interesting because of the fact that it really cross-referenced and had a lot of footnotes and references in biblical text. Not just the Bible, but all biblical texts. Anything from around the world. It would draw from the Bhagavad Gita, the Buddhist writings, all over the world. What were the dragons from China that they talked about descending from the sky and all this fire? Every religious text seemed to mention either angels coming down from the sky or some type of fire. To me, that book was far more interesting because it did derive conclusions. It didn't just leave open questions. But it also was hard pressed to make those conclusions based on what came before it. So yes, it might bring some things together, but it still had a lot of open-ended questions. That brings us to Ancient Aliens. If you're at all interested in aliens, at all, UFOs, I recommend checking out Ancient Aliens, especially the earlier episodes. If you're just interested in archaeology and ancient sites, I recommend Ancient Aliens because they visit all of them. Machu Picchu, the Great Pyramids of Giza, different sites around the world. And to me, that was more fascinating than, I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. I love Giorgio. He's great. If you ever get a chance to meet him in person, do so, because he doesn't take himself seriously. He gets Ancient Aliens for what it is. He knows why people are watching it, and they're not watching it because they're convinced they're going to learn the sudden secrets of the universe about aliens. It's just a fun show. It really is. If you go in thinking that everything they say is absolute truth or fact because it's on the History Channel, you're going to have a hard time with the show because you're going to look at it and just go, that's just the biggest crock of bull I've ever heard. My favorite daughter and I would watch it, and we watched a couple of seasons together. Probably, I think, fourth or fifth season she started watching with me, and we watched for 4 or 5 seasons together. Every episode, something would come on, and if she had the remote, she would pause it and look at me. Did they really just say that? Is that serious? No, it wasn't. You need to take it tongue in cheek. And a lot of things that they've explained on Ancient Aliens as proof of aliens, you can go find a YouTube video that debunks it. Rather easily, in fact. But like I said, it's a fun show. It does ask a lot of open-ended questions, leaves you wondering, Maybe. And there are some things that just plain can't be answered. Doesn't mean it was aliens, just means it can't be answered. But again, I enjoy the show. I enjoy it for what it is. The last couple of seasons that I watched, it really, it was stretching really hard to make a point. And I think they lost the magic. I don't even know if it came back this season. Don't know. I stopped watching it. The earlier seasons were a lot more fun than the later seasons. Anyway, that's my take on Ancient Aliens. If you check it out, let me know. Love to hear from you.